Hey guys, welcome to my channel. We are reading Fairy's Got Talent Ever After High. So in the last chapter, Faybelle, she did a spell on some of her competition so she could win Wicked Fairy, but the spell that she did at the end of chapter 12, she figured out that it damaged her wings too. So we're going to be on chapter 13, part 13, on page 135. We're going to see what's going on next. So here we go. Chapter 13, Flight Grounded. Faybelle almost bursted into tears, but she didn't. She maintained her cool demeanor, while Justine and the other students headed to the vending machines for their break. Faybelle walked down the row, up the aisles, and into the lobby. She pretended nothing had happened. No one would know that her wings didn't work. No one would see her in the weakened state. Never. If words of this got around, she'd be forever after humiliated. To allow the spell to backfire would elite comparisons to Raven Queen. That was an insult she couldn't bear, and if Justine found out that Faybelle couldn't fly, she'd give the role to the wicked fairy to Cupid, the demi-goddess, playing a fairy queen, not on Faybelle's watch. As she stepped out of the building, the afternoon air felt different. It was a pleasant temperature as usual, and tinged with the scent of warm cobblestones and buttercups. But the air did not embrace her as it usually did. It did not call to her, welcome her, or lift her. Without a buoyancy of her wings, she might as well have been wearing boulders on her feet. She was grounded like a tree, like a mountain. How could the wingless stand this lack of freedom? Miss Thorne. The bellowing voice was unmistakable and could not be ignored. What now? Faybelle grumbled to herself. She wanted to find something private, some place to gather her thoughts and process the situation. But the school's headmaster was walking straight for her. Headmaster Grimm was very tall, which was why he often looked down his nose as the students. He had quite a lot of hair for a man of his advanced years, and his thick mustache was streaked with white. He bore a gentlemanly look, reminiscent of bygone days, when men were damper and ladies elegant. The heavy keys rang hanging from his belt, symbolized his authority, but only he possessed the keys for many secrets and forbidden rooms. Hello, Headmaster, Faybelle said. She folded her arms behind her back, hoping to hide the droopy wings. You called? She kept her voice calm, her gaze confident, but her mind reeled. Had she been found out? What would the punishment be? Dungeon detention, surely. Every good villain expected to be sent to dungeon detention on a regular basis. But the headmaster tried to impose another kind of punishment. Should she defend her action? She accused it straightforward. A villain was supposed to act like a villain. A villain was supposed to pursue her destiny. And the headmaster was a firm believer to respecting one's destiny. He'd installed signs all over the campus and reminded the students of this fact. We are children of destiny. No, she couldn't confess. She'd have to play dumb. She could never admit that she'd become the victim of her own dark magic. The headmaster halted. Then he looked up and waved. Miss Cupid, I require your presence as well. Faybelle cringed as Cupid landed next to her. Hello, Headmaster Grimm, she said. Do you need some love advice? Well, I'm a fan of your Meercast show. I'm too much busy for your matters of heart. He smoothed his vest. Miss Thorne and Miss Cupid, I just got off the mirror phone with Madame Baba Yaga. She would like both of you to report infirmary. I can't go, Faybelle explained. I have a meeting of the Villain Club. Well, I appreciate your dedication to your um, extracurricular activities. Miss Thorne, this is not open for debate. He raised his bushy eyebrows and mysterious wings illuminate as spread among some students, and you must both be checked out. Do not delay. This appears to be very serious. Serious? Oh, that's terrible news, Cupid said. I'll go right now. I don't need to go, Fabel insisted. And why is that, Miss Thorne? Do you believe you're impervious of the disease? Have you even ever seen a dark fairy get sick? She asked. Cupid shifted her little golden bow into her other shoulder. I get sick sometimes. Last year during holiday, I caught Athenia acne. It lasted for a whole week, and one time I came down with the Herculean flu. All the ambrosia in the world couldn't make me feel better. Fabel's wings might have twitched with annoyance, except they were currently a lifeless of woolly draps. May I excused from the super interesting conversation? I have so many things to do. Did she dare call her mother and ask for help? Surely the dark fairy would know how to undo magic, but Fabel had wanted to pull off this scheme on her own to make her mother proud with her success, not disappointment with her failure. You may not be excused, Headmaster Grimm said. This is a strange ailment that we have never before encountered. Therefore, it is of utmost importance that all winged students undergo an examination. That is why I'm instructing you to go to the infirmary. He did not use the word ordering, but that was his meaning as a headmaster. He found a final decision maker. With a swift turn on his heels, he strode towards his office. Fibba groaned. This is all your fault, she grumbled at Cupid. She started across the quad, fists clenched, teeth grinding. If Cupid hadn't signed up to audition, Fabio wouldn't have been forced to add the cheer factor to her spell, and she'd be with her team, celebrating her victory at this very moment. Stupid Cupid. An invasion of pink appeared out of the corner of her eye. C.A. Cupid was walking beside her. What are you doing, my shadow? We're going to the same place, so I thought it would be nice to walk together, Cupid said sweetly. You seem upset. Your powers of operation are astounding. You're worried about your friends, aren't you? Your teammates are very close. Yeah, that's it. I'm worried about my friends. Fabo wanted to zap her with a dizzy spell and send her spinning in the ground, but there were too many witnesses milling about. How could she get rid of a pink problem? Cupid ducked behind Fabel, then reappeared. Is there something wrong with your wings? No. Really? They look kinda what? Fabel stopped walking and pointed a finger at Cupid. Kinda what? Cupid shrugged. Different. I'm tired, that's all. I stayed up late memorizing my monologue. Fabel needed to deflect the conversation away from her wings. What makes you think you can play the role of the wicked fairy queen better than I can play it? She demanded. Oh, I'd never think that, Cupid said. Her cheeks turned pink as her dress. Never. You were amazing. But Justine said she needed an actor who could fly, so I thought I should try it out. I really don't care what part I get. If you don't care, then drop out. I don't want to drop out. I do want to be in the play. If Justine casts me as the wicked fairy, but I'll be happy to play that part. But if I get a part in the chorus, that'll be fine too. She ran her hands along her bow. Theater is a huge tradition back home. Expect all the plays are kind of depressing. All that Greek tragedy. I prefer love stories. Of course you do. The day was beginning to feel like a Greek tragedy. Everything was going wrong. Fabel was supposed to be the hero of her own story, But this hero was not getting what she wanted. What kind of story do you like? Cupid asked. The kind that ends with me in charge. I don't want time for stories. Why was it taking so long to get the infirmary? Walking was the slowest, most tedious means of travel ever invented. Cupid kept jabbering. I think you might be one of the busiest students on campus. I've watched you hurry between practices and meetings, but you never seem super happy. Is there something missing in your life? In case you hadn't noticed, Cupid, I'm not a guest on your Mind Mirror cast show. So quit trying to analyze me. And in case you just woke up from sleeping spell, I'm a villain. Villains aren't supposed to be super happy. We fester, we dwell, we're prone to years of melancholy. Proper villain emotions, but villains still love, right? They both stopped walking again. They had reached the stone steps that led to the infirmary. What are you getting at? Well, Cupid raised her eyebrows. Do you have love in your life? I don't have time for love, Fabelle snorted. Love makes you crazy, it makes you weak. Her gaze darted to the top step, where Ashlyn and Hunter were sitting, his arm wrapped around her shoulder. Then they were whispering, Love distracts you from the important stuff. I think love is important stuff, Cupid said. But Fabelle didn't care about Cupid's opinion. She marched up the stairs as she did. Ashlyn Hunter stood. Professor Yaga's in there examining the fairies, Ashlyn told her. She doesn't know what's wrong with them. She says she doesn't have a cure. What are you going to do with the regionals? Hunter asked. Do you think we have to forfeit? No, Fabelle said firmly. Champions never forfeit. And will she believe that every cell in her body, she had no time how she was going to fix the mess she'd made. She reached out and grabbed Hunter's cloak, which was lying on the steps. I need to borrow this. With Cupid at her heel, she entered the infirmary. All right, and that is the end of part 13, chapter 13. We will be continuing on part 14 soon. All right, and I will see you guys later.